We are coming to you from a Title I school in somewhere in the United States, and we are going to be showing you Reader's Workshop videos from the very beginning of the year to the very end of the year. And we want to make sure that you know from the very beginning how we set it up, how it starts, the planning that goes into it, all the way through classroom videos. They're going to be very authentic whenever you see them. And now I'd like to introduce to you the teachers that are doing the videos. So to my left, we have Miss Thompson, which is kindergarten. We have Miss Williman, second grade, and Miss Powell, which is fourth grade. You will be seeing all of their videos on the YouTube channel, so I want to make sure that you know who they are and what grade they teach. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to discuss some things that go into planning and what goes into their classroom library, like how it's set up, and any other questions or concerns that we need to discuss about starting Reader's Workshop. So, ladies, show us or tell us what goes into your planning, or what are you thinking about whenever you plan for your Reader's Workshop?
Okay, so when I'm doing mine, I actually use Scholastic. I use some stuff off of Teachers Pay Teachers, and collaborate with other people on my grade level about it. But I kind of look at what their first lesson is, and basically the whole first 20 to 30 days is like behavior and what's expected of them when we're doing reading. We don't really get into like content and standards until like week 3 or 4, if not longer. So up first, it can be kind of boring because we're just talking about what their behavior should be, what my behavior should be, and then practicing what that looks like. And I also make sure like the first couple of days that make them feel like really excited about reading, and try to have this positive attitude about reading so that they're excited about that time of the day, and it's different than all the other subjects.
And let me just tell you also, we are in our second week of school, and this is actually Wednesday, August 25th. We started school last Monday, August 17th. So the Reader's Workshop lesson that you will see actually started yesterday. So that was the very first Reader's Workshop lesson that you will see after this video.
Yeah, so the first week of school was like setting up expectations as far as like the classroom goes, and like celebrations and how that works in the classroom. We didn't really get into like any Reader's Workshop stuff until week 2.
And we did the same thing, even though she's in 4th grade down in kindergarten. We spend even longer. Pretty much the first 2 months we just spend on books, how to use them, how to work with a partner, how to talk. It won't be until October when we really get into reading strategies and decoding. And I use things I found on Teachers Pay Teachers too, and then I adjust for my kids because, for example, in my first video you'll see that the kids don't even read books, because from observations last week my kids were book bullies, not book lovers. So we are taking our time this week every day to look at different ways of turning pages because they just weren't ready.
So yeah, I basically made like a 20-day calendar, and I know it seems like you're like 20 days really, you're not doing anything, but if you don't do it now, then you're having to continually say those things over and over again. So if you really spend the time, a short mini lesson on how to sit on the carpet, how to talk to a partner, where to find the books. It seems like it's so simple, but if you do it all now, it makes it much easier throughout the rest of the school year.
Right, by like day 10, 15, I'm like, oh my gosh, can we get to reading already? But I have to keep reminding myself like it's good to get it up front, or else further in the year you're going to run into problems and it's not going to go as smooth as it should.
Yeah. So. And I did notice like today when I was working the last couple of, I guess this is our 3rd day, so there are a couple mini lessons that I can combine because my kids are moving a little bit faster than I had paced for them, so you can always adjust, if you see a group of kids that are working faster and they've already gotten certain procedures, or if you really need to use or go over those procedures a couple more times, then it's definitely worth it now so you don't have to do it later.
And another important thing that I had forgotten about, because we end the school year with them being able to do so many independent things, is that what you have set for your Reader's Workshop block in the beginning, you're probably not going to take all that time. I know my kids, by November last year, they were already able to read for 15 minutes, which is great for a kindergartner. But now, today, even 5 minutes, I watched them start to get antsy with the books. So I just know that it's not going to take as much time as I think it's going to.
Right, like we have 120 minutes allotted for reading, and I'm spending like 30 minutes of that. And then the rest of it, you know, we have to fill it with something else because the workshop launching doesn't take the whole reading block, like you said, even for 4th grade.
And I know like right now, like 10 to 15 minutes is supposed to be like a mini lesson, but mine is around like 20 minutes now, just because it's taking a little bit longer, and we do a lot more like practicing during the mini lesson and things. So they do get shorter as the year goes on.
And
That's a good tip.
one thing, my grade level is doing Writ Band-based instruction, so I have like the lower readers, and my teammate has the medium to high readers. So I also have to take that into consideration, the students in my class being lower at reading, and they might need a little bit more time going over those procedures versus some of my teammates who have higher achievers. So we're going to spend a little bit more time than average classes.
And just to let you know that we are a personalized learning school as well, and with Miss Powell and Miss Williman, they do work with team members, so they will not have their own class in for a Reader's Workshop. They kind of switch students and level them according to the pre-tests that are given to them. Right?
Yes.
Right.
Anything else about, what about like classroom libraries? When do you start setting those up, and what do you think about, and what thoughts go through your mind as you're setting up your classroom libraries?
So mine's like a 7-year work in progress.
Me
So
too. I
it
was
takes
gonna say the same
forever
thing.
to get it to
Yes.
where you want it to be. Mine is organized mostly by like genres or like categories, and they have like little colored stickers so they know, and their little big book baskets. And then within each of those, there are books that are leveled. I would say probably about 30% of my books are leveled because it takes so long. I mean, during like our work days or whatever, I had like 3 different apps trying to level the books to make sure, because some books aren't in there, and it just so I have mine by genre, and then there are leveled books within my Fontes and Pinel levels in the book baskets.
I have the exact same thing. I just did levels A through J because usually that covers everyone for the year. If it doesn't, I have to pull in others. And then a big percentage of mine is the categorized, because in the beginning, my kids aren't only picking the books at their level because they can't read them, so they're also picking a lot of just from general category bins.
My classroom library, work in progress, like you said. Like, this is my 4th year, and I think every year I've changed it because I'm trying to find a way that works best for the students and myself. So last year I had it separated by Lexile and genre, and this year, at the end of last year, I kind of talked to a couple of my students, asking them how they would like the library organized, because I felt, you know, they're the people who are going to be shopping in it. So what's the easiest way that you like? And my students said that they like them on the shelf versus in bins. So I put them on the shelf and I leveled them. Mine are leveled. Kindergarten through 2nd grade are grouped into one category, and they have the stickers and the labels. And then, well, kindergarten, 1st grade are grouped together. 2nd grade's grouped by itself. 3rd grade's grouped by itself. 4th grade, and then 5th plus. So I didn't want to have so many different Lexile levels in my library, and I kind of knew, teaching 4th grade for so long, like what kind of reading levels I was going to be getting. So they're based on, color-coded based on Lexile level. And one thing I wanted to mention was when you're looking the books up, and there's going to be a lot that aren't in the system. So I kind of use, I don't know what you guys use, but a lot of teacher judgment there, and I'll go through and I'll kind of look at the book and see what kind of vocabulary words are in there, how much text there is versus pictures, things like that. And then since I've leveled 500 other books, I can kind of determine which level I kind of want to put it on. So I like to make sure every book in my library is leveled somehow. So I will just put whatever sticker I feel like, you know, based on other books that it is.
And I will definitely insert the pictures of their classroom libraries at the end of this video. Some other things that we're thinking about. We would like for you to please comment and ask questions, because we can have sessions like this just for a question, a Q&A, or a question and answer, so that any questions that you have about Reader's Workshop, setting it up, classroom library, the mini lesson, any part of it, just please leave us in the comment section, and we will definitely have more of these so that you can get your questions answered. And depending on the question that you have, it could be also a video that we do as well. Something else that I want to go over with these ladies, and by the way, I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Teresa Wilson, and I'm the literacy coach here at our school. So just to get that out of the way. But something else we want to also bring up is any concerns or problems. We help each other out, so anytime the teachers have any kind of a concern that they might have with their Reader's Workshop, questions, that they need help from someone else, or even something that they've done that was really exciting and that worked well, we will also share that. So I think Miss Williman, the second grade teacher, she has a concern or a question that we're going to try to help her with.
So because we're switching this year, so I will have a different group than my homeroom group for my reading block time. I'm trying to figure out when I'm to do the read aloud. So last year, we would do morning work, and we would come to the carpet, have the read aloud, and then we would do our math lesson, and then we would come back to the carpet, and I would start my mini lesson, and we would go through the whole, workshop structure. So I'm just trying to figure out, because if I do a read aloud with my homeroom kids, the kids that are in my reading block aren't going to necessarily hear it, and then it's when I refer back to it, then they're not going to be familiar with it. And so, but I don't want to do it at the start of my reading block, because that's a long time for them to be on the carpet, and they're going to get antsy by the time they even get to the mini lesson. And then I thought about, well, the other two teachers on my team, I was like, if we did the exact same read aloud every day, but then that's a possibility, but that also means you have to have 3 copies of the same book, so we can all do it, because our schedules are exactly the same. So everybody's teaching math at the same time, everybody's just reading at the same time. Or I thought about ending my reading block with the read aloud, and then it could be for whatever the next day's lesson is. So because that's kind of, they won't be sitting on the carpet right before that, and it'll give them some time, so that's how I could end my lesson. So, and then I could refer back to it the next day.
Right. So normally when you do a read aloud, if it's going to go with the lesson that you're talking about, you have read it before. So normally you don't read the whole book and then do a lesson on that book. You read the book casually, right?
Right, yeah.
And then in a lesson to come, refer back to, hey, remember when we read that book?
Yeah.
So I would think, since we're going to be doing the same type of switching, and I'll have a mixture of kids, I would do it at the end.
The end?
That's what I was thinking. This is after you do the sharing and the closure and stuff, and then just have it to be like an enjoyment,
Just enjoyment,
time for reading.
listening to the read
Yeah.
aloud. Okay.
And I usually kind of try to plan ahead so that I'm, like you said, if I'm going to be doing the mini lesson on Thursday about that book, I know Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday I need to read that book.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think I like that idea.
Yeah.
The time.
Yes, there's enough time built in. I think we have an hour and 15 minutes for our reading block, so there's enough time built in there to do a read aloud. And that's good. And usually when I plan for the week, I just gather all my read alouds for the week that I'm going to need. So I would have it already to go for the next day.
And I guess sometimes too, if your teammates read the book maybe the week before, and you just happen to know that they already read that book to them, then you could refer to it then. But I guess you'd have to just make sure that your teammates read that book.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't
Already.
necessarily schedule the same book on the same
Right.
day, kind of
Yeah.
rotate it.
Yeah.
If they're just reading it for pleasure in their room too,
Yeah.
then
Okay.
that might work.
Well, then it would reinforce what you're doing in their homeroom. That's a really nice thing I think about that.
Does that sound like something that you might do as well, since you and Ms. Jefferson's
Oh yeah.
switching?
I didn't even think about that because I'm taking it day by day. So, but yeah, definitely. Now that you brought it up, I think I'll do it at the end too.
Well, because we
And
haven't
see how
started
it goes.
switching our kids yet, because Miss Porter is still leveling,
Right.
Fonda's modeling all our kids, so we don't know exactly where they are going to fit in. So right now, and we're all doing the same 20 days, so everybody is kind of doing the same thing right now. So the kids will all know what to do once we do start switching. So, okay, so I think I'm going to try, the end of the lesson and see how that goes.
Yeah.
For the next day. Yes, that's good. Okay, is there any other questions? questions or concerns or something that you're thinking about. One thing I would like to bring up is stamina. Where do you start with your students? Because you know whenever you get them at the very beginning of the year, they cannot read for the whole amount of time allotted for the self-selected or the silent reading or independent reading that they call, the Reader's Workshop calls it. So how do you all start that?
I start with 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
And then maybe add like 2 minutes. We kind of graph like how many minutes a day that we're adding on until eventually they should get to 30 minutes.
So you graph it
Yes.
for a visual, okay?
We also graph it as well. When we get ready to use the books, because my students have actually not started reading independently yet, when we get ready, we'll set a goal before we do it as a class. How many minutes do we want to try to read? And then we go and find our spot and we start reading. And I kind of monitor and look around, and the second that someone's not following one of our expectations, the reading time's over. So, and then we chart it at the end. So honestly, it starts with like 3 or 4 minutes because there's always that one kid. But eventually they want to read, so they're like, hey, let's do these expectations so that we can read longer than 4 minutes. So eventually it'll work up to 30 minutes too.
Yeah, and that's what like last week on the first week I just had baskets of books on their tables or whatever. So I would kind of gauge okay, like how long are they actually paying attention to these books? Which of the kids are just like going like this with the books, or which kids are actually like reading the books?
Yeah.
So you can kind of like get to know them a little bit before they even get into the whole reading workshop thing.
When I start off, they're not independent at all. We do 5 minutes and we just put a book basket in the middle of the table that I've put various books in, and they're allowed to read and talk quietly with the people at their table. And we'll probably do that for a good 3 weeks before we even learn how to check books out of the library correctly and take them into their own book bins, and then we'll start to graph how long they can go for. But mine usually only get up to about 20 minutes. It's like 15 independent and 5 minutes with a partner.
Very different with kindergarten. Very different. And this is what we're wanting to show as well, is how different, but how Reader's Workshop is the same, but then different within the grade levels. Anything else that you're all thinking of, or just trying to survive the second
Yes.
week of school? Yes. So please make sure to leave us comments, questions, something that we can help you with. These are excellent, awesome teachers, and I am so lucky to be able to work with them and to show you how they do Reader's Workshop in their classroom. So stay tuned for more videos and for more chit-chats like these to help you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.